It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and today I'm super excited to show you an Australian craft beer from Hop Nation Beer Company, or maybe Brewing Company, or maybe just brewery. Should we have a look? This is their Festival East Coast IPA, coming in at 6.5% ABV. They're a brewing company, there you go. And I suppose this works, doesn't it? Can you imagine this very beer in the wonderful Australian summertime at a festival, 6.5% ABV, listening to your favourite band, drinking your favourite beer? What's not to love? What is not to love with that? 440 milliliter can. You've got East Coast IPA, West Coast IPA. We'll get into all of that in a moment. But first and foremost, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Canned craft beer then. No light is going to bleed into the can. I haven't said that for a while, have I? The benefits of a can. Yeah, the benefits over a can is I was about to say so much better than a bottle, but you do, well, not so much these days. Not so much. You don't get that kind of tinniness, do you, that you used to get with like tinned lager, canned lager. That's gone. I wondered if they like plastic wrap the inside. Plastic wrap the inside of the can so you don't get any of that kind of metallic taste. Mick in Australia sent us this beer. Thank you very much, Mick. I really appreciate it. We got a 2-finger tan head on the beer. Nice and hazy. Good levels of slow-moving carbonation. Looks really good. Really, really good. Let's get the aroma on this hazy-looking East Coast IPA then. Yeah. Oh. There's bang average IPA these days, because craft beer is now probably a little bit saturated all around the world. There's the, some of it can be like, some of it can be okay, but when you stick your nose into a really good one, where you can pick up different flavors, like orange peel, bit of grapefruit, bit of tinned pineapple, the love affair is very much still there, it really is. It smells great. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh. It's got this slight, the first flavour I got from the beer was this slight strawberry yoghurt. So maybe some lactose is being used, or maybe some oat. It might be really oaty, like an oaty yoghurt. But it's got that creamy oaty feel into it. Berry flavours are coming through, so as I mentioned, like a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of blueberry, maybe blackberry. It's blooming good. It's blooming good. Let's see if there's any sediment in the bottom of the can. But yes, just to reiterate, can you imagine being at that, your favourite festival there, drinking some 6.5% IPA, that next thing you're singing along, having a good time, and then I suppose after maybe an hour or two, you're thinking, where's the hot dog van? Where can I get a burger or some chips? Well, that's what I'm like anyway. If I go to these, generally for me, it's craft beer bars. If I go to a craft beer bar and get carried away on like the 6.5% ABV beers, I'm generally like, where's the food? And you're looking at the snacks, and these craft beer bars now, they've got you covered, haven't they? They know what you want. So you might see some chorizo, or you might see some like good crisps, or what else do they do? Like, you go to places like Brewdog and they'll sell you a burger and chips, and it's like, oh my god, this is perfect. Decent gas beer. Whenever I go to a Brewdog bar now, I drink the gas beer. But decent gas beer, or at least the last time I went there, it was decent gas beer. And then have a nice burger and some chips. It's good. It's got this lovely tangerine flavour that just rolls around the palate. It's a little bit sweet, it's a little bit bitter on the back end. I'm loving this. Thank you very much, Mick, for sending me this beer. It's been, right, let's have a little worry. Melbourne-based independent specialising in quality small batch beers. When you open this can, you'll find a brew reserved for the most curious beer drinkers. In that's what I love about craft beer, is the fact that they're looking to kind of offer up a fantastic flavour on the beer. This East Coast IPA is packed with oats. Oh, there we go. It was packed with oats, not lactose. Packed with oats for a super silky mouthfeel, and sings the classic East Coast juicy hazy combo. The mix of Eldorado Cryo, Citra Cryo, and Talus T90 makes for a tropical citrus explosion with coconut, pineapple, stone fruit, pine and floral notes. Coconut. I missed that. Yeah, definitely. I'm not Superman. I've never claimed to be Superman. I've never claimed to stand here and, get all of the flavours. I am a human being after all, but I try and do my best for you guys, But I want to talk to you about East Coast and West Coast. What's the difference between East Coast IPA and West Coast IPA? Because they've clearly put on the can East Coast IPA. So this all started in America. The American West Coast was a hotbed back in the late 1990s for American craft brewers. They would brew beers that were highly bitter. They was like, when I was reviewing beer in 2010, 2011, 2012, it was all about who can brew the most bitter beer. There was like 1,000 IBU beer from McKellar. The Polish were bringing out these 100 IBU beers. Really bitter IPAs. It was all about bitterness. And then the Alchemist brewery come along. The Alchemist Heady Topper. And that was probably the first East Coast IPA. So to make a West Coast IPA, you would put a lot of hops in the boil kettle. So you're boiling the hops. A little bit when you boil a tea bag and you're getting all that astringent tea into your mug. See, I'm a milk first guy when it comes to tea, because I think you're getting a different type of flavour from your tea. I'll explain now. So instead of when the Alchemist Heady Topper come out, it was a case of putting all of the hops in the fermenter. Most of the hops went into the fermenter, and it was more of a slower release. You weren't boiling the hops. You weren't going for that aggressive, astringent bitterness. You were slowly taking the flavours out of the hops. And the East Coast IPA, because Alchemist, I presume they're on the East Coast of America, the East Coast IPA was born. These softer, hazier, juicier, less bitter IPAs were born. And of course, some countries, and this is what I find really fascinating about craft beer, some countries have still adopted the East Coast, West Coast names from America, like Australia here. The language is still East Coast and West Coast. It's ingrained in Australian craft beer because people kind of understand it if they're drinking craft beer. What I find fascinating is the UK, we've dropped all of that now. Is that you don't really see Neipas anymore. You don't really see West Coast IPAs. It's all called IPA. It's all called IPA. Whether it's, I suppose then it's reading the back of the can. Is it hazy? Is it kind of like bitter? It's having to read the back of the can. It's gone back to like just calling it IPA, or maybe at a push, hazy IPA. But anyway, this Hop Nation Festival IPA, it's fantastic. It's a 9 out of 10. Thank you very much, Mick, for sending me the beer. 9 out of 10. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.